Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Hilden and today I wanted to talk about mists and make a little bit of a video with tips for mists, how to find more of rare mists, epic ones, rare ones, legendaries, in my experience playing recent weeks and recent months Albion, and somewhat from a point of a new player transitioning into a player who has at least a little bit of experience in all those things. So currently I am in mists. If you are familiar with the mechanic Will-O-Wisp, it is the mechanic. Basically what you need to do, these are, you can find them all over the open world, and then you just dismount, they run away from you, and then they open this gate for you to get into the mists. They can be of 5 different types: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. Of course, tiers of monsters and tiers of things that you can gather in mists depends on how high of a tier of rarity of mists that you had. Basically, legendaries are almost always tier 8. Epics are either tier 8 or tier 7. Rares can be tier 7, tier 6. I'm not sure if I never encountered tier 8 rare one, and then uncommon and common are most likely either tier 6 or sometimes tier 7, but most of the times tier 6 with monsters, and common ones can often be filled with materials of tier 4 and tier 5, which is quite low, and that if we are talking about like full loot mists, so not yellow zones but red and black zones. And one tip that I am specifically creating this video, the purpose of this video and why I wanted to do it, is how to find more uncommon mists, more rare and epic ones, and where to look for them. So this is Portal to Brazilian, as you can see. It is the last added city to the Albion Online that was coming with mists. Basically, it has straight up teleport into mists with common rarity, and those are not really good. I often heard from YouTubers and from content creators that with mists, you just go to Brazilian. If you want to do this solo content or duo content, you just go to Brazilian, start your mist in there, and then go from higher and higher. Whenever your mist closes, you just try to find the uncommon one, then higher tier and stuff like that. In my experience, it didn't really work like that. I rarely had higher rarity of the mist spawning inside of the one that I was already in. It was sometimes the case, but it wasn't reliable at all. And black zones are they are very dangerous for you to roam around and look for those wisps. And to be honest, they are way more populated than the thing that I wanted to talk today: red zones. In red zones, especially not at prime times, if you want to find good quality, high rarity mists, prime times is not the time for you to look for them. In red zones, there are quite often a lot of the high rarity mists. And the reason for that is quite simple. It is because, and we see here some PvP. Of course, I'm not gonna join these guys, and it's gonna be, it's 180k guys. But just in general, how do everything in Albion get its quality, get its enchantments, and I don't know, but just, yeah, mobs, stacks of ore, or just, yeah, if you are in a populated zone, everything will be depleted and everything will not be enchanted. When it comes to monsters, they will not get enough time in order to get enchanted or get into states of mini bosses and bosses. And when it comes to your gatherables, you will not have enough charges on them, so there's gonna be like 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 charges, and this is what I wanted to talk about. In red zones, there are way less people roaming around them. And that means that you can find way better and way more wisps that are going to be higher rarity because less people touch them and they had enough time in order to gather their enchantment, gather their rarity. And yeah, so basically that's it, because there is not enough people who play in red zones, and they are, just believe me, they are way less populated than black zones or yellow zones. Because they're in this like weird spot between full loot and not everyone being aggressive towards one another, you needing to flag. If you are flagging, then everyone can attack you and group against you. There are only gankers in there. Gankers don't really look up to go into mists. That makes red zones the ultimate mist finding locations. I am not sure if many guides already have an information about that, because I didn't really see it that much, and only after I was going into some cooperative hunts with my party, I experienced how many enchanted wisps there were. And in one simple day, in one single day, in like 3 or 4 hours roaming around red zones, I've found 4 legendary ones, 2 epic ones, and a lot of rare and uncommon ones. Of course, it depends on time. It depends on how close the red zone to your to yellow zones to your capital. The further away from the city, from regular cities, the red zone is, especially if it is on the deadest end of that, the better chance for you to find higher rarity mists. And just in general, if you are not familiar, why would you want to get them as highest in terms of rarity as possible? There are way higher chance for all the mythic animals to spawn in higher tier and higher rarity mists. Basically, all the fey dragons, all the spiders and griffins, they spawn way more often in higher rarity mists. And of course, all the crystal creatures that are solo or duo ones for mists specifically, they have higher chance to spawn there as well. And or if you are gatherer, basically how I play mists, I am not a regular mist enjoyer. I'm not going in here for PvP, at least not for now. I don't have enough experience in the game, and yeah, it may be interesting for me in some future, but for now I like to explore mists for 2 things. And I crucially need my mists to be of a high rarity. I am gathering, and I want to gather tier 8 and tier 7 resources, and I want them enchanted. There are higher percentage, at least in terms of my feeling of that, there is higher amount of enchanted resources on higher rarity of mists as well, and with their tier being higher too. And you can go in there and find quite a reliable amount of resources, even though that as far as I understand mists, they spawn with almost depleted resource nodes, and you can find there like 1 to 2 resources. But if you are lucky with legendary or epic mist and you get that tier 8 zone, even 2 to 3 nodes with quality on them would be very, very good. And mists just in general are way more safer than black zones, and you can only gather tier 8 resources in black zones. Tier 7 resources, you would not find a lot of them in red zones as well. So basically, if you are interested in safer gathering in general, and if you are interested in somewhat reliable way to find tier 8 resources, because in black zones they are quite often depleted as well, because all the guilds that have hell hideouts, castles, they farm those things constantly with safe portals as well. Random people farm tier 8 resources. You would not find a lot of them if you are unlucky. If you're lucky, there are some, of course, spawns, but just in general, mists are quite okay for resource farming, especially with if you have the ability to find higher rarity wisps more often. And then there's those mythical creatures, or I'm not sure how to name them properly, but basically fey dragons, griffins, spiders that give you all those juicy, good rewards. In my experience, and I probably was quite lucky, I was always or almost always getting the highest reward, for the highest silver costing rewards from those animals. That's why I like to just roam around, find the high tier wisp, and then just roam around, look for elementals, especially if it's tier 8 elemental. It contains something close to 10 resource. It is not depleted, so you're looking for them. And you will get gather them faster. You will get those juicy experience for your gathering, and you will get pretty good amount of silver. Then you're looking for enchanted resources and for those creatures to kill. It depends, of course, on your set. You can go in you can go hunting on those mists in more of a gathering gear only, which means that you cannot really kill those creatures. Or you can go in hybrid sets with a completely battle set, and then just having your instruments with you, having pork pie for some additional crafting procs. And that is going to be pretty good as well if you will encounter legendary or epic wisp, and you already have the gathering experience needed for you to gather those resources. So basically that was my video for wisps. I thought it would be shorter one, but yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time. Bye.